Welcome back, everyone. We're on to our last album class. We're going to give it just a minute here again to let everybody get on. Can't see any comments popping up here, but I'm sure you're all yelling train. I will draw for it here as soon as I get the...
Oh, we didn't hear it.
As soon as I get the video all set up and Patsy's teaching, I'll get a train price drawn. Should go get some more of those and show that we have a variety of those. The die cuts.
Make new ones?
No, I'll go pull some off the shelf.
Oh, okay.
All right, it's looking like we don't have quite as many of you back here yet. Give it just another few seconds here. Did we lose some of you? Did you need a break? That's totally okay, because these are going to stay on Facebook for 30 days, and then we are also going to download them to our YouTube channel and send everybody a link so that you can finish them up at your leisure. Well, I think we're going to go ahead. We're kind of staying about right here, so with this number that's on.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, our last album kit of the day, or our last album kit for the year, and little bit of cutting, not a lot on this one, and that amounts to, let's locate a teal sheet of paper that looks like this, and a purple sheet that looks like this. Let's do the purple one first. And this, I don't think we even need it right away. I think it's for page 2 or 3 and 4, but let's get it ready to go, and then you won't have to. So if you look at your instruction sheet, again, always all the cutting diagram pieces and the dimensions are always up here top left corner. And this says cut the 12 by 12 multicolored striped paper, which is this one, with the purple back, looks like that. We're going to cut it into 2 pieces that are 6 by 12. So basically, you're just
I'm going to put the train price out here for
oh,
when
cool.
we were...
Norma Chappelle, you are a train prize winner.
I figured I better not forget. They were all hollering at me, train. So
I know when she's just putting the camera on, we don't see the messages until she gets back to her computer. Okay, so 6 by 12, 2 pieces. And we can set those aside because I believe they are for page 3 and 4. And then you have this teal piece that has the little script writing on it. And on your smaller sheet of paper, which is 8.5 by 11, you have a little cutting diagram over here. And I'm just going to let you go ahead and use that and cut your pieces out by that. And I think that's the only cutting we have on this one. So on the smaller page, find your little cutting diagram. You have 4 pieces that end up being 3 3/4 by 5.5. and you have one piece that's 5.5 by 7.5. So if you go ahead and cut those out, then you have your pieces when you need them, and they're already cut. Powder Puff chalk ink colors, and the suggestions are amethyst, turquoise, and brown jasper. So 3 pieces that are 5.5. By 3 3/4. There's one. I think these little pieces are for page 2 also. So 5.5 by 3 3/4. You'll have a little scrap left over. You can toss that. And cut this at 5.5. And 7.5. And 3 3/4.
So I have somebody saying Joyce Coffee can't get into many Facebook times. Help her, please. Joyce and whoever's posting for her, I'm not sure there's anything I can do about it on this end. If you can't get into your Facebook, I really can't help you on that one. You don't have to be logged into Facebook though to see the video. If you can just get to Facebook and search Quick Quotes Scrapbook Company. You don't have to actually be logged in to find it, and then you just need to refresh until you see our video with the live icon on it. Other than that, there's not much I can do from this end to help that situation. I'm sorry.
It's so hard when technology doesn't work like it's supposed to. Okay, give everybody another minute here to get your pieces punched out. And we will need this little circle that has all the flowers on it. So you might as well go ahead and punch that out too. Set it aside, and we'll be using that in a few minutes. Okay, so our backgrounds for all 4 pages is this striped paper. I'm going to go ahead and trim off the labels off of 2 of these so that we can go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's your backgrounds. This is for all 4 pages. It's the wide striped, colorful wide stripes. And then you have a die cut that is, I think it's like a 10 by 10. And it's going to be centered right in the middle of this paper. And this is a good time to go ahead and chalk up some edges here. And the turquoise is probably one of the best colors for this. So go ahead and add some color to your edges. There's other colors that would work really good for this too, and Baja Blue is always a good one. And in last year's colors, there was Blue Topaz. And the colors before, Dragonfly. I think turquoise is one of those. So chalk up your edges just a little bit. Get some adhesive on this and glue it right to the center of your page. And if you haven't got your little white piece, your white flower circle punched out yet, go ahead and do that. And for now, I'm just going to lay it in place because we will need to tuck in, and I'll show you the finished one. You'll need to tuck in some photo mats down in behind that ring at the bottom. So I want you to make sure you get it in place like you like it. Some have it with this little piece sticking up there, or this piece. That part doesn't matter, that's up to you. Get it in place like you like it. And once you do, what I would use on this is a little, and we're only going to do the top half, anything up here, a little bit of the Barely Art glue. And I'm just going to put dots on because it's so tiny, so fragile, such little spots. You don't need a lot, because everything else is going to help hold this in place too. But I'm just going to put some dots of adhesive on so that it doesn't run off the edge, and it will hold it in place. Okay, I think I'm going to put it right here. Okay, there's the first piece. So what we've done so far is we have our 12 by 12 striped paper, 10 by 10 teal paper, chalked up those edges, we glued it down, and it takes a little bit of time to punch this piece out, so if you're not quite there, that's okay. We'll give you a minute to get that all punched out. There's lots of pieces from the inside and punching out and around the outside. It's kind of fragile, it's just tiny little bits of paper that are holding everything together, so take your time and get that circle punched out. Just keep in mind when you do find how you want it, glue it on, but don't glue the bottom part, because we are going to make a couple of photo mats that will tuck down underneath this part right here. So we have to have our convention classes out A to Z from California. We'll be doing 4 conventions with our classes. We also have, what are those places, Breezy? The CK conventions that A to Z will be doing. What does it say on that?
Oh, St. Louis, April 17th and 18th. Houston, July 17th and 18th. Lancaster, July 24th and 25th. And GASC in Arlington, Texas, August 14th and 15th.
Okay, so I'm working on getting those all in place. I need to have 8 new classes for them. So tomorrow I might have a bit of a preview for some of them. I don't have them all done, but I will tell you we do a test weekend or a test day here in Chehalis, and that is, do you know the dates of that?
Chehalis is...
She's going to look it up, but we do
February.
a one-day test to get all the bugs worked out of all of our kits so that when we do actually package them for conventions and on, that we have everything in place and all the pieces and everything fits.
So Chehalis, the local one-day event on site is February 7th.
February 7th, okay.
And then we also are offering it in Upland, California, January 9th for a one-day and January 10th for a one-day. So you would choose either or. It's not a 2-day event. You would choose either or on that.
Right.
But it's this. That would be the same classes, and these are what we're teaching at the CKCs this year. So January 9th or 10th in Upland, California, and February 7th in Chehalis. And we only have limited, like 30 spots each day at those. So,
right.
And
it's
people
small.
have already started registering. I would say the Upland ones, the Saturday is probably half full. Already.
Okay, so that's in February and January. So we will be, and I'll show you a few of the samples that we have ready. I'll show those to you tomorrow.
To register for those, you would go to shopquickquotes.com and click on in-person event.
Okay, in-person event. That's important. In-person event. And then it'll come up with Chehalis or Upland. And it's how much?
They're $129.
$129 for the entire day. That's 6 classes. And then if we have them available, you can purchase the other 2 classes once we get them designed. And I'm a little behind here, so hopefully tomorrow I can show you a few things that we have for next year. So anyway, get your...
one more question on that. Ask for somebody. You won't do virtual on that. No, we don't do that one as a virtual one. If we have class kits left at the end of the year, next year possibly, we didn't have enough to do that this year at the end of the events, so not likely, but your best bet is to go to one of the CKCs or one of those 2 events, if you're able to.
Right. And there's some fun new papers that we have to work with for those, so I'll show you those tomorrow. Check them out tomorrow. So get your flowered circle on, leave the bottom open, and then you're looking for, we'll move that aside for just a second. You're looking for 2 white papers. This is your photo mats. And 2 striped papers. And great spot on either one of these. You can chalk up the white if you want, but sometimes when we have just a small border of white, we leave it white. Just because it's such a small border, if you go to chalk it, you may be chalking it the same color as what you have on this paper, and your white goes away. So sometimes it's nice to have that crystal clear white border around without anything on it. But I will say this is a great spot to add some color for your little colored photo mats. So go ahead and throw some color onto those. And the sizes of these, if you're looking for sizes, you're looking for 3 3/4 by 5 1/4, and that's one of these striped papers. And then the other one is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. No, 3 by 5. Sorry, this is 3 by 5. And then if you locate the white papers, you just know that they need to fit perfectly right inside that border of white. And let's go ahead and chalk up those edges just a little bit. We do have our cruise also coming up in January, and I think it's really close to full, but that would be a question for Tracy McKinney, who's organized. She's extremely organized, and we have about 55 to 60 people already signed up to use the crop room, but that would be a question for her if you're interested in doing a cruise right after the first of the year. I think it's on the 17th of January. It's a week in Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and St. Kitts.
Our website says it's sold out.
Oh, it's sold out. But you know what? Lots of times.
There was one gal that had to cancel, I know, so I don't know if her spot's been filled or not.
Yeah.
I'll put a link to it in the comments right here.
Yeah, that would be good. And then you can find Tracy's information, and you can ask her how that works. Sometimes there's cancellations, and there may be a spot left open. So we're looking forward to that. Some sunshine in our rainy Washington weather for winter. I'm not ready for winter, and I know it's already here in full force, but everybody's seeing the northern lights everywhere. I didn't because it was cloudy here, but there was so many people that... Did you see any at your house, Breezy?
I was in Detroit.
You were in Detroit. Did you see any in Detroit?
Oh, too much light pollution in Detroit.
Right, yeah. Okay, now these, chalk those up, get them glued together. These are our photo mats for page 1. Page 1, super, super simple, but so pretty. I love all the colors, and I like the teal. I like the white, the contrast of the white against the teal. And now I can tuck my photo mats in the circle. And they kind of go in behind, about like that, okay? And then once you get those in, you can go ahead and glue down this a little bit better. But I would suggest not too much. Don't put any adhesive on this side because you need to tuck a picture in. I wouldn't put adhesive right here or here. Again, you have to tuck a picture in. So like I always say, in 10 years when you go to add a picture, you'll be able to do it. Okay, photo mats should be in place now. And I think sometimes when we're limited to an hour to do this class, we don't end up doing these little pieces here. But I think we'll at least do one of these. They're called little plaques. She calls them plaques in the directions. And we can do some of these flowers. You have a lot of white flowers, and I'm pretty sure that this flower in the center here is the biggest one. Then you have a couple of smaller ones that look like this. Let's do those. At least get them ready to add to your page. And I love doing flowers because it has all that little detail that you can chalk up edges on. Let's see what color would work. Okay, so if you just hold it loosely in your hand, and it does have little tails that you can get into little cracks and crevices, but I kind of like to do just this. And I go around once, and you go in a little ways, and go around once, and again. And each time you do that, it just automatically fills in those little cracks and crevices on the flower petals. So you can add as much or as little as you want. And I kind of like adding a little bit more than just a little, because this pretty color is really nice with Baja Blue would be another really good one to go with this. Okay, there's your center flower. And I could still add some more if I want to. This is your big center flower. It's going to go here, and then we have a couple of little ones. And you know, just for fun, I think I'm going to change colors on that, and I'm going to do, what have I got here? I'm going to do a couple in citrine. You don't have to do them all in the blue, but that yellow does the same thing. Just keep going around and around. It's a real bright yellow. Looks good with this one too. So choose your color. I'm always drawn to the tropical colors, but citrine works really good on this too. Okay, and there's your second flower. And I'll do the third one different color. I'm going to do it in this. What's this one? This is amber. Let's see what amber looks like. It's more of a deeper yellow, yellow gold orange kind of color. So there we have 3 different flowers. So see how those look pretty even? They don't all have to be blue. That's what we did, all blue on this one. But this one. And then you have a little packet with some little pretty little pearls. Well, I think I hear a train.
Hard to miss that one.
It's real hard to miss that one. Who do we have here? Patrice Lee. Hey, Patrice, you just won a train prize. We'll get that out to you.
Remember, if you're just joining us, you don't have to email to claim your train prizes. If you're a Club Q member, we'll send it out with your Club Q. If you're not, we will send it out automatically to you to the address we have on file.
Okay, now I think we'll go ahead and make this little placard here, and then it'll show us how to, I mean, that's all there is to this page, and we'll get the little one on that says My Everything. I'm going to have to locate my pieces. So when you start going through your die cuts, if you haven't already punched them out, you're going to need a white backer, and there's 3 different ones of these, so we'll punch them all out, get them all out here so we can match things up and get the right ones. And then there's a teal one. This comes from this die cut. That's the middle layer. There's 3 of those. And one more set that just layers it up. And it comes from this die cut here. And then the top layer is the little piece that you'll cut out with your scissors that says My Heart. And then we need 2 brads. So let's go ahead and choose this. Take your white pieces. Now 2 of them are the same. One of them's a little bit skinnier, and that skinny one is going to go at the bottom here. This one is just exactly like the one on page 1, and I think we'll just do the one on page 1 for now so we can see how it goes together. So we have, get these all matched up. Okay, matched up means this teal piece is slightly smaller than the white, and then this piece is slightly smaller than the teal. Same with this one. It's exactly the same size, and this one will go on page 2. And then this one's a little skinnier, and it will also go on page 2. So locate all these little pieces. And we're going to do just one for now, but just know that the rest of them are exactly the same. So I'm going to put these two away. And I am going to chalk the edges of these just a little bit.
Tracy messaged there is no spots left on the cruise.
Oh, no spots left on the cruise. Sorry about that. But there, you know, you could check back eventually and see if there's anybody that has
Well, she said names were due to the cruise
Okay.
already.
Okay, scratch
so it sounds
that.
like the cruise is not really an option.
delete that thought. Okay. I want here. I think I'll try. And this is just a little bit of sunset. A little bit different. I'm just putting a tiny bit on the front there. So now we can go ahead and add some adhesive and glue the teal onto the white. And this little light colored pattern piece goes onto the teal. And then we will add a brad in each end. And then the only other thing you have to do to this, and we can go ahead and glue this on to your page if you want to. The only other thing would be to cut out the little words, my everything. Got the wrong one. My heart goes right here. Some little rhinestones for your flowers. You do have on here a little piece of scallop purple. So you'll want to find that and tuck that in before you actually glue this down solid, okay? But again, you might want to just do the end so you can tuck a picture down in there. So the only other thing here is the word my heart and the little purple scallop. And we're going to call page 1 done for now, and then you can work on that a little bit later. I do want to get to the part where we put this little interactive part together. And that is this. It looks like this. So your page opens here, opens here, opens here, here. Lots of spots for pictures. Close it back up. This flap comes down over. And then also, this is another one that you tuck it into your page protector, and this comes down over the front. So you also have this space here and this space here for more pictures. So let's work on page 2 here. Once you get page 1 all pulled together, let's start on page 2. And we'll need another background, exactly like page 1. So the piece that you see here is just a background for here. And if your writing's going this way, it doesn't really matter because you're going to have pictures in here and you hardly see the writing anyway. So you will have this piece here. It looks like it's about 11 by, I'm going to tell you exactly here. What did I do with my ruler? Five and a quarter by 11. Is that what this is? Yep. 5 1/4 by 11, and that piece will go right here about 1/2 inch in from the right hand side. Now you do have a weird little piece like this that has little shoulders in the middle. That's what we're going to build our book with. But let's go ahead and get this piece on, and we can also put on the pretty little frames. But if you want to wait on the frames, again, you're going to have to add pictures behind these. Anyway, so I would just get this piece on, leave these intact so that you don't have to pop them back up to put your pictures in. I'll give you a minute to work on that. And I would chalk up the edges of this piece too, because it shows. All the edges will show. It's in about 1/2 inch from the right hand side, maybe 3/4 of an inch. So once you get that on, we will wait on these little frames. They can go on last just because you need to put a picture in. So right now we're going to work on this little piece here. And that starts with this piece. That is a die cut that you see. It has 2 little shoulders sticking out. And that is what we're going to call the front. The wider piece, the wider half of this, is going to be the front of your book. And the reason for that is, if you don't happen to get, we're going to fold it right here where these little shoulders are, but if you don't happen to get the inside of your book absolutely perfectly on there straight, you're not going to have any weird little edges that are going to be hanging out from behind your book. So fold it in half right where those little shoulders are. And give it a nice crease with your bone folder. And then you need these 3 pieces. These are all these pieces have, 2 of them have a hole in one side. See, as you can see, it's punched. And that's just so I can say, this is the pieces that we need. And this one has 2 holes, but there's a score line next to where these holes are, and that score line is in about 1/2 inch. I will tell you that this one, they're really hard to see, and they're not cut very deep. So if you're not seeing them, you can make a second score line with your trimmer here about 1/2 inch. But give it a try first to see if you just bend it back and you can see that score line appear. It is hard on these. Okay, so the one with 2 holes, that score line is right within about 1/4 inch from those 2 holes. Go ahead and fold it. These have a score line within about 1/4 of an inch from that single hole. Go ahead and fold that. Once you get it going, you can, those score lines pretty much appear, but it's kind of hard on this one. If the laser machine cuts them too deep, and then your paper wears out really quick. So if you're having trouble finding them, just know that you're going to score in about 1/2 inch. I'll tell you exactly here. Yeah, 1/2 inch. It's exactly 1/2 inch in from the edge on the side that has the holes. So if you need to rescore, go ahead and do that with your scoreboard or your trimmer. So each one is 1/2 inch in from the edge, and it's on the side with the holes. Okay, give you a minute to get that all figured out. Get your main piece, and this is your cover, folded right where those little shoulders are. Get that folded, creased. And as you're folding, just know that the pieces with the single hole are the right and left page, and the piece with the 2 holes are your bottom page. And you can use either side of these that you want as front or back of your pages. That part doesn't matter. You'll just want to. We're going to add adhesive to this 1/2 inch part, and it glues underneath on your open book. So I'm going to give you just a minute. Now, actually, too, if you want to chalk up your edges, this is a good time to do that. And these pages will show through front and back. So maybe a little color on the front, turn it over, and add a little color to the back. I think I hear another train coming. So front and back with a little color, you're going to add some chalk ink because you will see both sides of the page. Okay, we do have a train prize here for Vicky Catalan. Catalan, how do I say that?
I'm not sure.
I'm sorry, honey, if I butchered your name, but you won a prize. So
I say it Catalan, but I don't know that that's
okay.
right. So
that's what I'm saying too. So please correct us if we're wrong, but we'll get a gift out to you. Congratulations. Okay, now let's get started with adding our pages. So this little piece,
nobody even hollered train. They must be getting tired.
yeah. So the little pieces with the holes are what is next. We're going to just lay it out so it's next to the smaller part of your book. Now what we're going to do is add some adhesive. And then your book will go on right up next to the score line. So that is your first page, okay? And then you're going to do the same thing over here, but just the opposite side, a little adhesive here. And then this 1/2 inch, and that's the side with a hole, slides underneath, goes right up next to the score line and the fold, and that's your second page. Okay, and now the last page is the one that flips down like this. So you're going to add adhesive here, and that tucks in under the bottom. Okay, so now you have all your pages. So your bottom will flip up, your right side flips in, left side flips in, and if you're lucky, and got things on fairly straight, it doesn't hang out around the edge anyway. But then here's the cover. This flops down here. Okay? I'm going to go through that one more time just so make sure everybody has it. So this page has a hole on the 1/2 inch part, adhesive on the 1/2 inch part, slide it under, and it glues on so that you can fold this shut. Same on the right hand side. Your hole is here, your 1/2 inch piece, and it's glued behind the main part of your book. Then the one at the bottom, this has the 2 holes, adhesive on this here. It goes in behind. That will fold up first, second, third, and really it doesn't matter. That's just how we do it. And this folds down, and there's your book. Okay, now to get it onto your page, let's bring back our background page here, and you're looking for a white piece of paper that looks like this. It's 5 by 9 1/4, and we're going to use our trimmer or our scoreboard to score it at 1 inch. One inch across the short end. Okay, so there you have that. So again, the paper is 5 by 9 1/4. You're going to score it at 1 inch across the short end. Score it in 1 inch. And then you will add some adhesive. And I would add a couple rows of adhesive. And then this 1 inch section will slide in. And it's in about 1 inch from the left hand side. And making sure your score line is flush with the top of your page and adhered to the back, and then this will flop down over the front. Okay, in your kit, I know this is a tiny little piece to locate, but you have a little, it looks like a scrap almost, but you can see at the top here, we have this little piece. This book is not going to go clear to the top of your white page. This will go here, and then you also have another die cut that looks like this, and it will go here. So we need to get those on first, because once you do, then we're going to add adhesive to the back side of our book, and it kind of overlaps the edges of these, okay? So you want to make sure that you have about 1/8 inch white showing at the top, and also on left and right, and at the bottom here about 1/8 of inch showing at the bottom, left and right. And then that assures you that your book will just overlap, just barely overlap the top of this and the bottom of this. So let's go ahead and chalk it up just a bit. And I will adhere this to the top, or near the top. It's like 3/4 of an inch by probably 4.5, 5. Just a little tiny piece. And then this one goes at the bottom.
I have asking what size is the white piece?
The white piece is 5 by 9 1/4.
5 by 9 1/4.
Yeah, and you know, way early on, we found that a few of them got cut at 9 3/4, which is a little bit too big. So I forgot about that. So measure your white piece and make sure it's at 9 1/4. If not,
None of these were part of the early stuff. None of these kits were, so they shouldn't.
okay. That's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to make sure if somebody got one that was from the end of the last.
Okay.
So measure your white piece and make sure it's 9 1/4 inches long. If it's 9 3/4, it's a little bit too long. It won't hurt anything. You'll just have a little white showing. But if that's the case, you still have time to cut off a 1/2 inch. Okay, should look like this right now. And I'm going to add a little chalk to the edges of the outer cover of my book before I glue this down. And then I'm going to add adhesive all around the back of this. And you want to put plenty. I'm just putting a little again because mine's a sample. But you want to put plenty because this is going to be on the outside of your book and it needs to be pretty sturdy. I don't like how I did this one. Okay, so your book opens up this way. Your adhesive is on the back. And then again, it overlaps just the bottom of that little skinny strip at the top and just the top of that little piece of teal at the bottom. So it should look like this at this point. You have a functional book that you're going to be able to leave on the outside of your page protector. Just like that. Okay. And just a couple of more pieces that are embellishments. You have, I'm not sure what I did with mine, but there's a little tab that we...
Did you make him have lip or something?
No, I think I have it. It's right here. Okay, you have this weird shaped little piece that looks like this. Okay, looks like that. We're going to fold this in half. And then if you see the finished one here, you can see that this little tab is that. We're going to add it here so that you can easily open that up. It's going to go about like that. I'm going to add some, and I'm going to sandwich this cover piece in between this so it makes it a little sturdier. Okay, do you see what I mean? It's going to be on the back and it's going to be on the front. So I'm going to add some adhesive and go ahead and get that piece on. And you want to get it on high enough. I'm going to show you this. You want to get it on high enough so that it doesn't cover up your word my everything. And it really just needs to stick off out just a little bit. About like that. Okay? So fold that little tab in half, and you're sandwiching your cover page in between that tab. Okay, and then just a couple of last minute things here. You have just a little photo mat that goes on here. Again, I would chalk those edges up a little bit. You also have a couple of scallop pieces. And
Okay, I got a couple more questions. How
Okay.
wide is the fold over to the back on the white?
the fold over to the white is this right here. So I think is what she's talking about. That is, you're going to score it at 1 inch, okay? Or fold it at 1 inch, whichever. But that part right there is just an inch. And then the rest of the white comes down here onto the front. I'm hoping that's what she means.
And then I have another one here. What was it a pre-cut at piece? I don't know what that.
Was it the little tab that you're talking about? That was a die cut. It came from this little space right here, if that's what you're talking about. And if you're talking about this little piece here at the top, it's like a 1/2 inch by 5 inches. And I'm pretty sure that was a die cut. And this piece down here was a die cut. Is that everything? You think?
Nobody has made another comment since
Okay.
then.
Then if you're asking about the white, again, that's scored at 1 inch. Fold it along that 1 inch part, glue that 1 inch part to the back side of your page. And then add your little, I think it's about a 1 inch by 5 up here at the top, this little striped piece, and then teal piece at the bottom. And then adhesive onto the back side of your book, and it glues on just over the bottom edge of this little striped piece and the top edge of this teal piece at the bottom. Then fold in half your tab, sandwich your front page in between this tab, glue it down. And then you're looking for a piece that looks like this. Has these little colored bar pieces coming off of it. That will go on here. You have purple scallops. That goes on here. And then, just like you did on page 1, remember we made this little it's going to be exactly the same for here, and then you cut out the words my everything, and that also goes on there. And your little book is totally done. So the only other things that you need to do for here is cut out your little words. You're going to make that third little plaque. It goes at the bottom. That goes on as a pocket. You're going to have 3 little tags with ribbons, a couple of little flowers, brads. And on page 1, you will cut out and add the word my heart. And that's pretty much it. Everything else that you have that's all pre-cut, and You're going to have lots of little tags for page 2. I'm going to show you what that. Can you hand me that right there, Breezy? That stack there. So this is page 2. Actually super simple. We cut this background piece in half in the very beginning. You have lots of little tags if you want to use them, but super simple. You're going to be able to just look at this picture and put everything else together. So I think that's everything. Does anybody have any questions before we sign off here? And it gives you about an hour to put everything else together. And we will come back at 5 o'clock with, we'll demo the mini projects. We won't spend a lot of time on those because they are pretty simple, and then that's something you can come back and look at. I know you're
We'll
not
do
going to have...
Wheel of Fortune and a few fun things also.
Right. Lots of prizes later, so...
So I'm going back to this first layout. This cutout here, we actually have a whole line of those die cuts that I'm going to have Patsy show you here. These are on our website. Your coupon would apply to these also, except we might have to get a
white background for some of them. Okay, this one is super cool. This is a nice Christmas die cut. And this one too. Look at how pretty that one is. This is a great Halloween one.
These are all $5.99. I guess you don't need the box now. Oh, there's another black one right here.
This one's pretty cool too. It kind of gives you everything you need for a page with just a few photo mats.
So these are all under die cuts on our website. They're just cardstock, white cardstock die cuts or colored paper die cuts, laser cuts from our laser machine. Here we have some flowers. These are some of like the layering flowers that we used on some of these layouts, like this one here.
Yeah.
Similar to that, sheets of flowers. We have 4 different kinds of layering flowers. You can mix and match things. They're all $5.99, and your coupon does apply to that. So if you find any of those you want, add them to your cart. And this is just a sampling of what we have. We have, I think, about 40 of them now. And they're not all flowers. A lot of them are, but not all. Some are tropical, some are travel, seashells, cowboy boots. So those would be under the die cuts on our website. They're just laser cardstock die cuts. And then also, we, in your album, you got 10 page protectors with it. During the weekend, we're going to be doing way more layouts than that. So if you need more page protectors, we have ones that we know work in those albums. They're $9.99 on the website, I believe, for 10 page protectors. So your coupon would apply to that also. You can add those to your cart if you're needing more page protectors. They're basically a standard 12 by 12. We just know that they work with these albums. Sometimes that's tricky finding the right thing. So we do have those on our website also for page protectors.
I need to say one thing, and I forget to do this. You know those little flip over pages that we do that house more pictures? If when you slide it into your page protector, it doesn't allow it to slide clear to the bottom of your page protector. It lacks about 1/4 of an inch, maybe even 1/2 an inch. So what happens is when you get your page done and you have this, okay, and you have it in your page protector, you have this flop down. This is only going to let it go down so far in your page protector, and that's kind of annoying. But if you take your, lift this up, take your page protector and cut it down 1/4 of an inch all the way across and up 1/4 of an inch, and it cuts out this tiny little section, and it allows your page to slide down into your page protector much better, okay? I forget to mention that sometimes. Anything else, Breeze?
No, I think that's it for now. We'll come back at 5 with the don't forget your coupon that you can use. The coupon is 3day25, number 3 DAY2025. And that's good for the die cuts we just showed. Oh, we didn't get up.
We didn't get off here in time. There's another train. Hang on. Some lucky person is going to be glad. Sandy Barecki, you are a train prize winner. And that was a short train.
Yeah, it was. Must have been the Amtrak.
Yeah, it was Amtrak, I'm sure. We know who they are by how long their train is.
Okay, so we will meet you back here at 5 o'clock, do some mini projects, Wheel of Fortune.
Let's tell them what's on that Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, on the
Bring
Wheel
it
of
over here
Fortune,
and let's
okay.
see if we can get a picture of it.
Well, the first one I see on here is a lump of coal. You'd think Stacy's boys wrote that on there.
Okay, here's our big Wheel of Fortune. We have a $50 gift card and $25, $15, $40 gift card, a lump of coal. So some lucky person will get a lump of coal. $10, $25 gift card, $10 gift card, $50, $15, $25. A virtual hug from Patsy. That was Stacy's idea. $20 gift card. And we have a blank here. So if you got a blank, that I think you probably get to roll again, right?
I don't know. This is Stacy's rules here.
Anyway, we'll be drawing names to see who gets to spin. We'll spin by proxy. We'll be the ones here spinning, but we'll draw your name and you might be a $50 gift card winner. So, okay, we'll see you back at 5 o'clock.